to introduce Dr. Uziel, who I'm sure is very well known to most of us from the Dead Sea Scrolls unit of the Israeli Antiquities Authority. However, maybe less well known is that he received his PhD from the Department of Land of Israel Studies and Archaeology at Bar Ilan. Dr. Uziel, it was an absolute pleasure to meet you when we were in Jerusalem in 2019. Thank you for coming to meet with us then, and thank you for being with us over the last couple of days as well. And we are very much looking forward now to hearing from you of your project update from the Dead Sea Scrolls unit at the IAA.
Thank you so much, Gemma, and thank you, Mladen and Drew, for having me. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to try and do a little bit of a rundown of what we've been doing at the IAA. And just, Gemma, if you can let me know if you see my screen yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so what have we been doing? And these have been happening times this past year at the Israel Antiquities Authority DSS unit. And one of the big things that you'll notice on my first slide is our logo has changed. And so when you see this logo, no, it's still us. We haven't changed. And I know that these have been challenging times for everyone around the world, researchers and others alike, of course, with COVID and the effects of COVID. For the DSS unit specifically, there have been extra challenges. Approximately a year ago, when I met the crew from the Hands That Wrote the Bible, was close to the end of Pnina Shore's time with the unit, and about a year ago I replaced her, and Pnina taught me a lot about the world of scrolls, and I still have a lot to learn. And if you can see here in this slide, she not only taught me about the scrolls, but she also taught my children. So I would like to thank her and hope that I can fill in her shoes in the next few years. And of course, the team that she's put together of conservators and curators and researchers and photographer have been amazing and have allowed us to continue to delve into the world of the Dead Sea Scrolls and continue to both manage and research the collection that we have at the IAA. One of the main projects that Pnina had been collaborating with is, of course, the Hands That Wrote the Bible, the project that I have not much more to say after these past 2 days, and looking forward to tomorrow. But the data which linked between us and this project was the major project which began about 10 years ago with the digitization of the Dead Sea Scrolls using a special system of multispectral imaging in a set environment with no changes over those years, photographing the scrolls, each fragment, in 12 wavelengths and in a variety of exposures in order to collect a large amount of data on the scrolls. And it's this database that served as a platform for the AI that the ERC project is doing. But this digitization also served several aspects of our work at the IAA, including the conservation, because the recording of this data over these 10 years and the monitoring of that data helps us in understanding what the scrolls are going through and if we're doing the right job in our conservation. It's the documentation of the scrolls in the most advanced method. It contributes to the curation of the scrolls, obviously, as well as research such as in the ERC project, as well as the project that you heard about last night by Bronson and today by Nahum, the Scripta Qumranica Electronica, which also takes this database of images from the IAA and puts it together with the transcriptions of the texts from the team from Göttingen, and basically coupling it together provides a large database, which is then implemented with virtual tools in order to be able to study and analyze the scrolls. And hopefully in the coming months, we will go live with this system. Now, the data that is uploaded to these projects is based in the databases of the Israel Antiquities Authority, what's known as Menorah, and that feeds both will feed the SQE project, but it also feeds the Dead Sea Scrolls Library, the Leon Levy Dead Sea Scrolls Library, which has been up in the air and provides access to thousands and thousands of images, which also serve many researchers in their work, and provides data regarding not only the scrolls discovered at Qumran, but in fact, the entire collection, which comes from various sites and includes some 25,000 fragments of almost 1,000 manuscripts, spanning roughly a period of some 1,700 years or so. So it's important to stress that although Qumran is obviously the largest collection, many other important finds were found as well. Going back to the Leon Levy Digital Library, the website, which was uploaded, I think 7 or 8 years ago, basically provides information for both the scholarly community, but also the broader public, aiming at also informing them about the Dead Sea Scrolls and introducing them into that world. Now, I am a little bit new to the world of internet and websites and so on, but apparently 7 years is a very, very long time for a website. And so over the past year, we've been collecting data on our existing website. And here you can see some numbers. We have about 200,000 unique users a year. And although this sounds like a nice number, we're actually aiming at more. And so we want to launch a new website that appeals to both the Dead Sea Scrolls scholars, researchers in related fields, because as an archaeologist, I'm not a Dead Sea Scrolls scholar per se, but this does touch on various avenues of research of archaeologists and other scholars. And so trying to give them easy access to the information in the Dead Sea Scrolls Library, as well as the general public, by basically combining different levels of information, whether it be general explanations on different scrolls or more in-depth capabilities of studying the scrolls, such as in the SQE, as presented by Bronson and Nahum earlier today. And again, as I mentioned, if I have to compare between the old or the existing website and the new website, it's not that the existing website doesn't provide a lot, but we're trying to see what we can do for it to basically provide even more. And some of the ideas are to enhance the content that is existing with more general information, to have interactive content to sort of pull in users, improve presentation of some of the information, and have various educational resources on various topics. In terms of research, so of course the SQE virtual research environment will be a big part of this and basically give scholars new ways of searching this library of images, improved search capabilities, and try and also aim at ways in which scholars in related fields such as history, New Testament, Talmud, archaeology, etc., will be able to access this information and implement it into their own studies. In terms of some of the research that we've been doing in the past year, we've been involved in various collaborations and research projects, including the advanced imaging, as you see here, in the slide on the left. Of course, the very, very famous case is the Engedi scroll, but we're working towards advancing that together with Brent Seals, and hopefully this imaging will give us knowledge not only about the text written, but about the morphology of the scrolls. And at the same time, we're delving into the world of analytical studies of the materials of the Dead Sea Scrolls, both the parchment / papyrus, as well as the ink. And here you can see just tastes of some of the studies which we're currently taking on, including the study of the inkwells, in order to try and see if we can understand the composition of the ink used in the Second Temple period, and then have that as a first step towards understanding ink recipes used for the writing of the Dead Sea Scrolls. To conclude, I couldn't finish this without at least mentioning shortly the latest discoveries. Of course, the Israel Antiquities Authority for the past 3 years has been both surveying and conducting choice excavations in the Dead Sea, in the Judean desert. The idea behind the project is to create a situation where we get to the finds prior to their looting. I'm sure that some of you have seen some of the amazing finds that were discovered there, and I won't go on about the beautiful Neolithic basket or the Chalcolithic skeleton that was wrapped in a cloth. But one of the major highlights of this project was the discovery of fragments of scrolls. You can see in the picture above the way that they arrived at the DSS unit, and of course a long process of both conservation, documentation, and research led us to understand that we were looking at further pieces of the scroll of the 12 minor prophets, which had been discovered back in the 50s, and as by looters and then by Yochanan Aharoni. And if you want more details on the textual analysis of these scrolls, I invite you all May 3rd to take part in the conference. It will be in the University of Haifa, but held on Zoom, where a detailed study will be presented by Beatrice Riestra and Oren Abelman of the DSS unit. And with that, I thank you all.
And we thank you very much. I think the Leon Levy site is probably one of my most visited sites of all time. So it's very exciting to hear there will be some new updates, and we wish you luck with that.